Woody Trimmings and Worms, your guide to healthy garden soil. Hey there, friends, and welcome to Meaningful Living. It's always a joy to connect with you. Paul and are so happy to have you here today. Paul and I are constantly searching for the most helpful and interesting information to share with you. Today, we're going to uncover an incredible secret: how to transform something as common as tree trimmings and other woody waste from your yard into a true source of life for your garden, by enlisting our tiny but incredibly hard-working allies, composting worms. Have you ever wondered how these little helpers can literally transform your soil and make it more bountiful with minimal effort on your part? How are you doing today? Are you feeling good? Drop a few words in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. Your thoughts and experiences always inspire us. And as always, remember to take care of yourselves. When working in the garden, it's very important to mind your well-being. Take a break if you feel tired, drink plenty of water, and enjoy this beautiful activity. Health comes first, and gardening should bring you only joy and peace. Ready to dive into the world of vermicomposting and learn how to create the richest soil with minimal effort? Then let's get started. From garden waste to golden foundation, the composting revolution. Well, once again, hello everyone on the channel, let's start. Remember how often after pruning trees and bushes, we're left with piles of branches and other woody debris? They might seem like just waste, but I want to convince you, this is untapped potential, a real future for your garden. Instead of letting them slowly rot for years, we can transform these garden wastes, whether it's branches, wood chips, or shredded bark, into the most valuable fertilizer, often called black gold, and do it quickly and efficiently. We've uncovered a simple, yet powerful hot composting method for these woody materials. And this isn't just talk. It's a real revolution in your garden that allows you to accelerate the decomposition process up to 10 times faster than traditional composting methods. Imagine, in just a few weeks, you can have rich, living organic compost that will become the foundation for your plant's health. What's the secret? It all starts with understanding balance. For successful hot composting of these woody wastes, it's crucial to maintain an ideal balance between carbon, browns, that's our branches, wood chips, and nitrogen, greens, provided by, for example, fresh grass clippings, kitchen scraps, or even chicken manure. This ratio activates microorganisms that act like tiny engines, generating heat and rapidly breaking down organic matter. And now for the most important part: how do you properly build this magical compost pile? Imagine you're making a layered cake for your garden. Start with a base. Create a layer of coarse, airy materials at the bottom, such as thicker branches or corn stalks. This will ensure good ventilation from below. Layer your browns and greens. Next, alternate layers of brown, carbon-rich materials, like our shredded branches, dry leaves, straw, with layers of green, nitrogen-rich materials. This could be fresh grass clippings, weeds without seeds, kitchen scraps, or even chicken manure. Aim for a ratio of approximately 2 to 3 parts brown to 1 part green. Moisture, the key to success. Each layer should be moist, like a well-wrung-out sponge. This is vital for microorganisms. If your pile is dry, the process will slow down or stop. Water it regularly, especially during construction and in hot weather. Ensure aeration. A compost pile needs air. Besides layering, it's important to turn the pile periodically. If you have a large pile, turn it every few days to mix the materials and ensure oxygen access. This helps prevent unpleasant odors and speeds up decomposition. And of course, let's talk about common mistakes to avoid. Overwetting. Too much water displaces air, leading to anaerobic decomposition, which creates an unpleasant rotten egg smell. It's better to underwater than overwater. Insufficient pile volume. For the hot composting process to kick off and maintain the necessary temperature, the pile needs sufficient volume. The minimum size for a hot pile is approximately 1 cubic meter, 3 by 3 by 3 feet. Smaller piles simply won't be able to heat up enough. Adding incorrect materials. Avoid adding meat, fat, dairy products, pet feces, other than manure, they can attract pests and cause unpleasant odors. This preliminary treatment of woody garden waste doesn't just turn it into compost. It makes it an ideal, bioavailable foundation, the first and most crucial step in creating what we'll call supercompost. Now we're ready to take the next step and enlist our best helpers to bring it to absolute perfection. Why earthworms are compost's best friends and your gardens. But what if we could make this compost even better, even more vibrant and nourishing, transforming it into a true elixir for your garden? Here's where our tiny but incredibly mighty friends come into play: earthworms. These aren't just random soil dwellers, they are tireless workers, the architects of your garden's underground world, who, for free and 24/7, improve its health and fertility. Their role in nature is simply invaluable, and we can easily invite them to work for us. Why are earthworms such indispensable helpers? They are your garden's living plows. Imagine them constantly moving through the soil, creating countless tiny tunnels. These tunnels make the soil incredibly loose, literally aerating it. This allows water to penetrate deeper to plant roots, and air to circulate freely. This is critically important for root respiration and the life of beneficial microorganisms. Waterlogging and compacted soil are enemies to plants, and earthworms solve this problem with no effort on your part. They create black gold, vermicompost. The greatest value of earthworms lies in their life products. They consume organic materials, like our prepared woody waste compost, pass them through their digestive system, enriching them with microorganisms and enzymes, and excrete what we call vermicompost. This isn't just dirt, it's a concentrated, easily accessible, highly effective organic fertilizer. Vermicompost contains all the necessary nutrients in a form that plants can instantly absorb, leading to vigorous growth, larger yields, and more resilient plants. They invite more life into your soil. Healthy soil, teeming with earthworms, automatically becomes more attractive to other beneficial microorganisms and is a sign of truly living soil. By restoring its health with earthworms, you create a strong foundation for your entire garden. And if you're wondering what specific types of worms are best for this amazing process, and where to find them to invite into your vermicomposter, be sure to keep watching. We'll tell you everything in detail so you can easily enlist these essential helpers for your garden. Preparing woody waste compost for worms. The secret to success. So, we already know how amazing earthworms are and the incredible benefits they bring to our garden. But how do we combine these powerful forces of nature, our woody waste and our hard-working earthworms, to create the ideal vermicompost? It's not as simple as just tossing fresh branches or trimmings directly into the vermicomposter and expecting miracles. Unfortunately, if you do that, the worms will just ignore them. Why does this happen? Imagine this: fresh branches or tough wood chips are too hard, fibrous, and most importantly, don't contain enough readily available nutrients for the worms. For them, it's like trying to eat raw, tough branches, simply impossible to digest. Earthworms feed on soft, decomposed organic matter that has already been pre-digested by bacteria and fungi. That's why our hot composting method, which we discussed in detail earlier, is the ideal pre-treatment. It's like preparing a gourmet meal for our worms, rather than just giving them raw ingredients. When the compost from your woody waste cools down after the intense hot phase and goes through the initial stage of decomposition, that is, when microorganisms have already done the first, most difficult part of the work, softening the tough wood fibers, that's when it becomes an ideal, soft, moist, and incredibly nutritious food. And also, a cozy and safe home for our worms. We are essentially giving them a semi-finished product that they can easily transform into the final super product, high-quality vermicompost. This step is key, as it ensures maximum efficiency for the worms' work, guaranteeing they will be happy, healthy, and enthusiastically convert your garden waste into true black gold for your thriving garden. This is the true secret to success that speeds up the process and makes vermicomposting accessible and enjoyable. Building your worm farm vermicomposter, step by step. Now, let's create a comfortable and productive home for our earthworms. You don't need expensive systems. The main thing is that they are happy. This could be a specialized multi-tiered vermicomposter that you can purchase, or you can use something much simpler that you already have on hand. An old plastic bin with a lid, the main thing is to make enough holes in it for drainage and ventilation, a sturdy wooden box, or even just a dedicated area of your main compost pile that is well protected from the sun and rain. The key is to provide our little helpers with darkness, consistent moisture, and good air circulation. What options are there for a vermicomposter, and what do we need to know? Simple and accessible solutions. Most often, for a start, a plain plastic bin with a lid, for example, those used for storage, is used. This is an ideal budget-friendly option. You'll need to make enough holes in it, a few at the bottom for drainage, to avoid excess moisture that can drown the worms, and a few in the lid and on the sides for ventilation, so air can circulate freely. This will ensure they get enough oxygen, as worms breathe through their skin and don't like stuffy conditions. Wooden boxes. You can also use a sturdy wooden box, perhaps an old vegetable crate or one built from old planks. Wood breathes better than plastic, but needs to be resistant to moisture. Specialized multi-tiered vermicomposters. If you want something more professional, there are specialized multi-tiered vermicomposters on the market. They allow the worms to migrate upwards as they process food, leaving finished compost in the lower levels. This is very convenient for harvesting the finished product. Garden area. If you have plenty of space, you can even dedicate a well-protected area of your main compost pile from direct sun and excessive rain. The main thing is to remember moisture, darkness, and protection from predators. Regardless of the type you choose, here are the main conditions we must provide for our worms. Darkness. Earthworms are nocturnal creatures and don't like light. Ensure your vermicomposter is dark. Consistent moisture. Remember the wrung-out sponge rule. This is the ideal moisture level for worms. Good air circulation. Oxygen is their lifeblood. And now, the most important part, how to prepare their bed, their cozy home where they will perform their wonders. This is the foundation of comfort and productivity. Start with bedding. At the bottom of the bin, place a thick, fluffy layer, about 4 to 6 inches, of moistened, shredded unglossy newspaper or cardboard boxes, without glue or tape. Just tear them into strips. This will be their soft and comfortable bedding, as well as the first source of carbon. Moisten it well. Add living soil. On top of the bedding, add a little regular garden soil or some already partially finished compost. This is very important, because along with the soil, you'll bring millions of necessary microorganisms that are an integral part of the worm's food chain and help them break down waste. Invite them to the table. Now carefully add our pre-treated and already cooled woody waste compost, which we discussed in such detail earlier. This is their main food, which they love so much. The final touch. Make sure the entire contents are well moistened, but not soggy. Again, the wrung-out sponge consistency is ideal. Cover the vermicomposter with a lid to ensure darkness and retain moisture. This is the ideal environment for their work to begin. Your worms will be happy in their new home and ready to immediately get to work, transforming your organic waste into the most valuable fertilizer for your thriving garden. Populating and feeding. What worms love to feast on. Finally, the exciting moment arrives when we invite our new, incredibly hard-working helpers to settle into their new home. Where do you get earthworms, and what types are best suited for such an important task as vermicomposting? This is a very important question, because not all worms are created equal. For our worm farm, special composting worms are ideal, not the common earthworms you might find after a rain on the sidewalk. They are useful, of course, but composting worms are true champions of decomposition. The most popular and effective species capable of quickly converting organic waste into valuable vermicompost are red wigglers and European nightcrawlers. They are distinguished by their incredible appetite and by thriving in compost pile conditions, which cannot be said for all others. And the best news, these amazing workers can be easily ordered online from specialized suppliers who ship them directly to your home, or purchased at some local garden centers that care about ecological gardening. Believe me, it's a small investment that will yield huge fruits in your garden. And now, let's talk about what to feed our new, hungry friends to keep them happy and productive. They love a variety of organic waste, and that's great because it helps us reduce household waste. It's a true smorgasbord for worms that turns into the best fertilizer. Let's see what they love, besides our already wonderfully prepared woody waste compost. Vegetable and fruit peels. Everything left after cooking, potato peels, carrots, apple skins, banana peels, these are true delicacies for them. Eggshells, crushed. They'll add calcium, which is very beneficial for plants, but be sure to crush them so it's easier for the worms to process. Coffee grounds and tea bags. Don't throw away the remnants after your morning coffee or tea. Worms simply adore them. Stale bread products. Old bread, rolls that are no longer fit for eating. Put them in the compost. Unwaxed cardboard and newspapers, shredded. An excellent source of carbon. Just tear them into small pieces and moisten. Grass clippings and leaves. Fresh greens from the garden that don't contain weed seeds, an ideal addition. Seaweed. If you live near the sea, fresh seaweed is a true superfood for compost. And now for what you absolutely cannot give them, because we want to keep our helpers healthy and happy. Citrus fruits. Oranges, lemons, grapefruits, they are too acidic and can harm the worms. Meat, fish, fat, dairy products. These products not only attract unwanted pests, rats, mice, but also cause a very unpleasant smell of decay. We want our compost to smell like fresh earth, plastic, glass, metal. This is obvious. Organic composting is only for organic materials. Chemical fertilizers and pesticides. They kill worms and cause irreparable harm to soil health. Remember that even some natural remedies can be dangerous. For example, avoid mustard powder, which is known to repel worms. Our goal is to create a natural, safe space for them. Vermicomposter care, keeping worms happy. Now that our hardworking worms have settled in and started their work, our task is to provide them with the best living conditions to keep them happy, healthy, and, of course, maximally productive in converting your waste into valuable vermicompost. It's like caring for your own pets, a little attention, and they will repay you 100-fold. Here are a few simple but extremely important secrets that will help maintain the ideal microclimate in your worm farm. Moisture, it's the lifeblood. Imagine your compost should be moist, like a well-wrung-out sponge, just taken from the sink. That's ideal. If the compost becomes too dry, our little friends simply won't be able to breathe and, unfortunately, will die. On the other hand, if it's too wet, like a swamp, this will lead to a lack of oxygen, an unpleasant rotten smell, and worse, the worms may start to suffocate or try to escape. Regularly check the moisture and, if necessary, carefully moisten it. Temperature, comfort above all. Worms, just like you and I, love comfort. They work and reproduce best at temperatures between 15 and 25 degrees Celsius, or approximately 59 to 77 degrees Fahrenheit. Therefore, it's very important to protect your vermicomposter from direct, scorching sun in summer, which can overheat it, and, of course, from severe frosts in winter. Perhaps it's worth moving it to the shade or even indoors, garage, shed, during the cold season. Aeration, let them breathe. Air is oxygen, and oxygen is life for worms and microorganisms. Ensure sufficient air access to the compost. From time to time, gently stir the top layer to prevent compaction. Otherwise, suffocating, worms may leave your soil. Don't overfeed, moderation in everything. Our worms have a wonderful appetite, but it's important not to overdo it. Add new food gradually, in small portions. Wait until the previous portion is almost processed before adding the next. This prevents food from rotting, avoids unpleasant odors and attracting pests, and most importantly, allows the worms to work efficiently. We all make mistakes sometimes, and that's perfectly normal. If you suddenly notice that your worms are fewer in number, or they are behaving strangely, for example, trying to escape from the vermicomposter, that's a signal. Check the moisture, temperature. Remember if you accidentally added something harmful. In most cases, the situation can be corrected, and you can gently invite the worms back to their important work. Harvesting black gold, your finished vermicompost. Here it is, the moment we've all been waiting for. In approximately 2 to 3 months, this time may vary slightly depending on the number of your hard-working worms and the volume of organic waste you've offered them, you will witness a true miracle. Your vermicomposter will present you with ready, incredibly valuable vermicompost. This isn't just fertilizer, it's true black gold for your garden, filled with life and nutrients. How do you know your black gold is ready for harvest? It's very simple. It will have a rich, dark, almost black color. Its texture will become crumbly, resembling loose, fine soil, no traces of the branches or trimmings you added initially. And most importantly, it will have a pleasant, fresh, earthy smell, with no hint of rot or unpleasant odors. If you see that the materials no longer look like the original woody waste, but have transformed into a homogeneous, dark brown mass, congratulations, you've done it. And now comes the interesting stage. How do you separate our hard-working worms from this ready, luxurious compost? Don't worry, it's easier than it seems, and it won't harm the worms. There are several methods, and one of the simplest and most effective is the pyramid method, or as I like to call it, light migration. Here's how to do it. Spread a tarp or newspaper in a bright, dry place, for example, outdoors on a sunny day, or in a well-lit garage. Carefully empty the entire contents of your vermicomposter onto this tarp, forming small, shallow cones or pyramids. Wait 20 to 30 minutes. Worms, as you know, dislike light. They will instinctively begin to migrate downwards, deeper into the pile, away from the bright light. Start collecting the finished compost. After the specified time, carefully remove the top layers of compost, starting from the top of the cone. You'll see that the top layers are almost free of worms. Continue collecting compost layer by layer until you reach the concentration of worms that have hidden at the bottom of the pyramid. Relocating the worms. The collected worms that remained at the bottom of the pile can be transferred back to your vermicomposter, where you've already prepared fresh bedding and food for them, or simply released back into your garden, where they will continue their tireless work. Thus, you get clean, high-quality vermicompost, and your worms are ready for new achievements. It's a true cyclical miracle that you created with your own hands. Applying vermicompost in your 55-plus garden. Here it is, the true treasure we've worked so hard for. In your hands is finished, living vermicompost, true, black gold, created thanks to the tireless work of our little worm friends and your care. This isn't just fertilizer, it's an elixir of life for your garden, literally breathing with energy and nutrients. You will be amazed at how it transforms your plants. How can you best use this amazing richness in your garden? Here are a few simple but extremely effective ways that will bring maximum benefit. For seedlings and sowing seeds, an ideal start. If you're preparing a soil mix for your seedlings or for sowing seeds, add 10 to 20% vermicompost to your regular soil. You'll see how your young plants get an incredible boost in growth, becoming stronger and healthier from their very first days. It's like the best vitamin cocktail for little ones. For fertilizing mature plants, unsurpassed nutrition. When your plants are already growing in the ground or in containers, simply sprinkle a thin layer of vermicompost, about 1 to 2 centimeters or 0.5 to 1 inch, around the base of the plants. Gently work it into the soil or just leave it on the surface and water. The worms and microorganisms will do their job, gradually releasing nutrients that will be available to the roots for a long time. Your vegetables, flowers, and shrubs will thank you. When planting new plants, a strong foundation. When you plant new seedlings or bushes, add a handful of vermicompost directly into each planting hole. This will create an ideal environment for rapid rooting and active growth. Plants will feel right at home from day one. For houseplants, freshness and beauty. Our indoor plant companions in pots also deserve the best. From time to time, roughly once every month to 6 weeks, add a small amount of vermicompost to the pots of your houseplants. Just sprinkle it on top and gently mix it with the top layer of soil. You'll see them become brighter, their leaves will shine, and flowering will be more abundant. For lawns, the secret to lush green. And here's a real gift for your lawn, especially if you've struggled with its growth or compacted soil. Vermicompost is the ideal remedy for revitalizing and loosening the soil beneath your lawn. Simply spread a thin, even layer of finished vermicompost over the entire lawn surface. This will not only improve the soil structure, making it looser and more breathable, which allows grass roots to breathe more freely, but also provide your lawn with all the necessary nutrients. You'll see the grass become thicker, take on a juicy, rich green color, and be much more resistant to drought and disease. It's a simple way to turn your lawn into a true green carpet to be proud of. Restore healthy soil, naturally attract earthworms, improve it organically. All this is possible with Vermicompost. Feel how your home garden, your own oasis of peace and beauty, transforms into a vibrant, productive space that fills your life with joy and harmony. This is truly a transformation that makes your garden healthier and more productive with minimal effort, and you'll experience true satisfaction from meaningful living. Your garden, a source of meaningful living. So friends, we've come a long way together. From simple garden waste, like pruned branches, to creating true, black gold, living, nutrient-rich vermicompost. We've seen how our tiny but mighty friends, the earthworms, can transform your soil, making it incredibly fertile and healthy. This is true natural magic, accessible to each of us. Remember, gardening isn't just work, it's a philosophy of life. It's a path to harmony with nature, to creating something beautiful and useful with your own hands. Every time you add vermicompost to your plants or lawn, you're not just fertilizing them. You're investing a piece of your soul, restoring soil health, and supporting a life cycle that gives us fruits and beauty. This brings true satisfaction and adds meaning to our everyday lives. If this video has inspired you to try vermicomposting, or if you're already an experienced gardener and have your own secrets, please share them in the comments. We're always happy to learn from you. If you enjoyed this video and found value in it, don't forget to give it a like. It helps us understand that this type of content is of interest to you. Share it with your gardening friends, because knowledge is meant to be shared. And, of course, be sure to subscribe to the Meaningful Living channel so you don't miss new tips, ideas, and inspiration for our shared journey toward a meaningful and joyful life. Thank you for being with us today. See you in the next video.